which is more damaging? Ghosting the person or letting them know, hey, listen, you just not what I'm looking for right now?
Letting them know.
So you really done? Like, really?
What's happening, everybody? How y'all feel out there in Facebook and YouTube land? You tuned in to another great episode of the Male Translations Podcast. Tonight, man, it's Thursday, so you already know it's Thursday Night Live. We're about to get right on into it. If some of you guys have been paying attention to the Relationship Healing page on Facebook and Instagram, you probably checked out the stories. I've been posting a few questions about tonight's topic, just kind of check the temperature of the community and everybody out there and see how everybody feeling when it comes to this particular topic. But before we get into it, I want to just introduce myself. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Clarence Brown. Some of you may call me Relationship Coach Clarence Brown. I'm a certified life coach and relationship coach, an author and a speaker, and also the host of this very podcast, the Male Translations Podcast. And so tonight, man, I got a great guest. We're gonna chop it up on a topic that I think has a lot of people commenting, man, a lot of people giving the insight and information. I want to welcome in tonight my guest, Michelle Chambrill Monago. She is a certified life coach. She is also a CEO of Divine Awakening Outreach and Ministries, Inc., which is a nonprofit out of Atlanta, Georgia. She's been doing her thing for a long time, really touching lives and really helping women to young women improve their chances on having success as they grow older into adult ages, and just helping them to be able to establish themselves and so on and so forth. There's so much that she's doing. I'm going to bring her in because tonight we're going to chop it up on the topic of, is it money or marriage? Which one is more important, money or marriage? So women, which is more important? So without further ado, let's get right on into it. I'm going to bring in my guest tonight. We're going to call her Chambrill. I think she likes to go by Chambrill. So we're going to call her that and make sure we show all due respect. And let's get right on into it, man. Shout out to Unique Mobley Chambers. I see you already out there, man, showing love, locked in. So let's get right on into it. Chambrill, how you doing? How you feeling tonight?
I am feeling wonderful. Hello, Clarence.
Great. I'm glad you take the time to sit with me and chop it up on this topic. Is marriage or money more important? What is more important to women, marriage or money? So I've been wanting to talk about this for probably about a week or two already, just trying to, tap into it. But I had to be patient, because I especially for this topic, wanted to have a female perspective on it. So I'm thankful that you took the time to share with me. Thought it not robbery, as they say in ministry.
Right.
So before we get into it, I want you to tell all the viewers and the guests that's logging in and going to be kind of chiming in as we go through our discussion, and tell us more about yourself before we get started.
As you know, and as you mentioned to everyone, yes, I am Chambrill Monago. Of course, I go by Michelle as well. That's on my social media page. So as Clarence shared earlier, yes, I am the proud CEO of a nonprofit here in the city of Atlanta, doing great works here for the youth, with a long passion and history of medical, real estate, parenting, having the opportunity to have been a certified life coach, has always been my aim and my goal to even help people as I've been able to transition myself in life, right? And, being able to grow and going through the obstacles, but understanding that there was something far greater than what I was seeing before me. God had a purpose and a plan for my life, and being able to say, okay, Lord, I hear you, I see you, I know what's going on, and how do I become more attentive to that, to be able to be of service, not just to, myself, but even be a beacon of to my community, my family, and that's where it starts, that for me. And so through the platform of being a a life coach, that's just a title for me. I'm strictly holistic, strictly on discipleship. A disciple. That's what I am. I'm a believer in faith. I'm a believer in his word, honey. And I am here to do what? Direct and reconnect anybody who don't know, introduce them to them. And that's how us, me and you, we also, became acquainted. I was on your feed. I don't even know how I became friends with you. Like I gave you a brief, intro when we first talked very quickly. And, just what you were doing, I wanted to be a part of it, because it is important and it is critical that we ourselves begin to look more deeper into the psychological effect, right? Of not
Mhm.
just, us as individuals, but understanding the man species as well as the female species, as well as, you know what I'm saying? I'm a female myself, but how can I allow myself to be such a asset in life, right? Even when it comes to a mate, right? That's a
Mhm.
relationship.
Right.
Our first relationship and connection, you know what it is, but here we are, hot topic.
Most definitely. And then, without further ado, we're gonna get right on into it. So for a lot of people out there, like I said, I have been sharing these questions that we're gonna kind of go over tonight within my Facebook story, within my Instagram stories, and also, I try to get it into my group. A couple of the things, if you guys out there don't know about my group, it's called Inside a Man's Mind. So we go inside a man's mind when it comes to love, relationships, women, money, and just kind of touch on what men think when it comes to that. So if you're not in that group, if you're on YouTube or if you're outside of the group right now, please tap into that group. Inside a Man's Mind, it's very, very good. We try to have very, very robust discussions on different topics, like I said, related around how men feel about love, women, and relationships. And so
And
this
that's so
go
funny
ahead.
that you said that, Clarence. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
You good?
by you speaking about the page, listen, just so that people know, this isn't just from a page for men. This is a page for actually men and women. It's
Facts.
healthy conversation. It's healthy dialogue. Again, that's how like I told you before, I don't even know, but I just know I saw the join group and I saw that topic of the inside of a mind of a man of a mind a man's mind. And again, that alone, I was like, let me get in this group and see what's really going on. You know what I'm saying? As a woman, I wanted to understand. I'm serious. I wanted to understand, like, what are they talking about? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? What
Right.
they got going on this group, on this page that, again, it came across my lap. And I
Mhm.
wanted to be able to chime in. So I'm excited for, this part of it.
Most definitely, most definitely. So we're gonna get right on into it because I know there's a lot of people out there that have their own opinions. So again, you can check some of the questions, maybe vote on some of the polls that I put up within the Facebook story. But I'm gonna go over some of the answers thus far that I've had both from Facebook and YouTube. I got my phone right here. I'm gonna check them right on out, and we're gonna discuss some of the things that have been coming across as far as answers of how people feel related to some of the questions.
Right.
So for
Okay.
everybody that's out there watching right now, a few of the questions that I asked today, just kind of seeing how everybody feel, just like I said, checking the temperature, dipping the little thermometer in the water, seeing what's happening. I asked earlier, I said, who has more of a problem with their partner making less money than them? Less money. Who has a problem, more of a problem with their partner making less money than them? So these answers I'm about to read right now from Instagram. So with this, I had 111 people that answered this question, and 70%, excuse me, 73% of women, or excuse me, 73% of people who voted for women. All right. The question was, who has more of a problem with a partner making less money than them? All right. I also asked, do today's women prioritize building wealth or building a family, and why? Right. And so with that, I had a couple answers come through. Said, yeah, from conversations I had, um, that what was it? Yes. So today's women do prioritize building wealth over building a family, right? I got yes, yes. Let me see. Got someone commented wealth. Women prioritize building wealth over building a family. Says wealth
Okay.
is hard out here, especially if you live in an expensive city. Okay. And then I got one more comment came in for this particular question. Said, I think a lot of them just prioritize individual wealth over wealth built by partnership. Okay. A lot of women prioritize individual wealth instead of wealth built by partnership. I also
Okay.
went down and asked, um, what was it? Why do women insist on dating their financial equal? All right. If you guys are watching right now, I need y'all to hit that like button, please, for the Facebook, the YouTube algorithm. If y'all really want to get into this topic and y'all really want to hear how we talking and what we discussing tonight, hit that like button for your boy, please. I appreciate it. Listen, all my heart goes out to the likers and the sharers out there in the world.
I know that's
So
right. I
do
know that's
women?
right as everybody's tuning in.
Yeah, facts. Do women is why do women insist on dating their financial equal? So I got some comments came through. Okay, so some ladies had commented saying most women will look down on a man nor will respect him. Okay, if
Okay.
he's not their financial equal. That's the answer that came through. Another
Okay.
lady said for stability, women um insist on dating their financial equal for stability. And then also I had
Okay.
another relationship coach says that because we don't want the responsibility of financially caring for an able-bodied man. Okay. Then we add going down the line, I asked, will that determine the quality of a woman's relationship if she prioritizes if she prioritizes hold on if she prioritizes a man being her financial equal. Okay, does that make her relationships the quality of the relationship better? So 59% said no and 42% said yes. So that's kind of like, close half and half, right? And I said, does putting money or financial security over marriage and family work out for women in the long term? Does putting money or financial security over marriage and family
Okay.
work out for women in the long term? 76% said no. Okay. So now, just
And
real quick, we're gonna go over to Facebook. I want to show love to my Facebook crew that's always locked in. So I asked the same question: who has more problems with their partner making less money than them? All right, 67% said women. Okay, do women prioritize building money over building a family? Got some do, not all. Another person said wealth. They prioritize building wealth, and then someone else said no, both. Okay. When I asked the question, why do women insist on dating a financial equal? Got an answer says men beg and we don't want another child to take care of. Okay.
okay. Well. So we
And then
we we,
two
we
more
you
questions.
know.
Hold on 1 second. Two more
Okay.
questions. Last is will that determine the quality of a woman's relationship? 67% said no. And when we asked, does putting uh money or financial security over marriage and family work out for women long term, we had 67% on Facebook say yes. Okay. It was 78% on Instagram said no. Putting money and financial security over marriage and family does not work out for women long term. But on Facebook, they say, yeah, it do. So with that being said, now let's turn it over to you, Shambril. How do you feel about some of the things the answers that came through for those questions that were asked on the story?
I mean, it was several questions. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, we're gonna go
responses.
through them. We're gonna go through them.
Yeah, yeah. So, responses are all over the place. So I just want to first and foremost take the time out to dissect one at a time from the beginning because,
Okay, yeah. All right. So
everybody, everyone has their opinion, right? And
mhm,
the thing is that society today, just like we're talking about social media and where we're getting the statistics from, right? We're
right,
living in a time to where the morals and the values of what can be built on in a relationship, period. I'm talking about a relationship between a man and a woman. Is first of all, what is important is the relationship and the foundation that's built. So without that, that's nothing. Like
mhm,
it really is nothing. And I say that more so because even myself, as me and you have got the chance to prepare for this, I too, I have been making phone calls, picking brains, both male and females that, I have, connection with just to kind of get a feel of what others think or perceive of this, just like so that
mhm,
we're able to come back together and talk about it. And so for me, like I said, it just still depends on the individuality and the morals that it is that they're trying to have things built on. But we first and foremost as women were not just created to be alone. Men weren't created to be alone, you
right,
know. So even when we ask these type of questions, it still has a root behind the answer, whether it's something that we ourselves experience, right? Or
mhm,
whether it is that someone else experienced and then, stories, movies, social media, the things that people are being shared, like you really don't know where it to go. And so as I give my opinion, and I just want to be a realist, right? But at the same
Mhm.
time of being someone that's not yet married, however, and I am wife material. See, it's a
Mhm.
difference. See,
Right.
it's not that part of it. You have to be in place with what you have to be with God first and foremost. See, if you and him, you and your mate, and y'all ain't even equally yoked, you ain't on the same page. A lot of this stuff arises up in everyday life, in relationships. So it is important, like we're talking about it. And so just by your first question, who has many problems about money, you know, it's common, men, like you said about being your equal, men may not, they can
Hold
look
up,
over
hold
it,
up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Before you get into it, let's break it down piece by piece, right? So we gonna go from the first question, and I'm gonna let you explain and go into detail, and then we're gonna work our way down, right? So
okay,
let me start out right with this. The place where I started this discussion was me having a discussion with a friend of mine who's a man and a friend of mine who's a woman, right? And so
okay,
when we had this conversation, I said, well, first of all, it seems like it's two ways to look at this. When it comes to a woman, when we give the scenario, I gave them a scenario. I said a woman makes $100,000 and a man makes $40,000, right? To a lot of women, what I've noticed is women believe that $40,000 is a threat to her financial stability. Him making 40,000 is like, oh, I don't really, you know what I mean? That's all he do. That's all right. Now, the same scenario, if a man is making $100,000 and a woman is making $40,000, he doesn't see what she's bringing in as a detriment to what he has created or where he has come to at a place in his life. Instead, he looks at it as an addition to the $100,000 that he's bringing in and says, "Okay, great. Well, you have stable income. Awesome. You're beautiful. I'm attracted to you. Whatever the case may be. We work. We connect." But the income is something that doesn't bother me. While that same scenario on the flip side for a woman is like, I don't know, like I'm second guessing because he's making $40,000.
and
Go
but
ahead.
and then too, when you say that again, I'm speaking about myself. Yes, it is a concern,
Right.
but if we allow ourselves to have that same equal mindset of what you just said, why is it that a man would be receptive to understand that it only adds a plus? Even as a woman, we have to understand that too. And it's okay. It's
But why
okay to
don't
meet a
women?
brother.
Why don't majority of the women look at it that way? Because I understand you're able to speak for yourself, but in the same breath, you can speak to the fact that for a lot of women, it is a problem or it's not okay. Like it may be for you. You may be able to look at it and say, "Hey, if he's been working at a place 5 years and he's been able to bring a stable income,
Right.
maybe he's okay. Maybe he likes to drive trucks or he likes to, work where he works, and you got to be able to be all right with that. If you're okay with that, fine. But why do you feel so many other women, in majority speaking, generally speaking, don't see it that way?
And generally speaking, society, even how some women was brought up, even from
Mm-hmm.
the times have changed and what we're living in. I grew up with grandparents that were born in the 30s that was together, that built the foundation. My grandmother had her own thing going on. My grandfather had his own thing going on. You get what I'm saying? But they brought it and they came together. And
Right.
so, first of all, if you ain't even got that unity in the relationship and that understanding, just like you said, why is it that men can accept that and women can't? That's exactly why sometimes you got women that end up by themselves. And a lot of people are single to this day because of the expectation. And you
Right.
can't think that way. You can't logically think that, okay, let me figure out and get me a baller or get me somebody in this more higher caliber, because
Mm-hmm.
just because that money might be there, they still may be lacking in other areas. You know
Right.
what I mean? Even the compatibility, what it is that they're bringing to the table. You know,
Right.
it's still a flip side to that. Just like you spoke about the qualities of what the man sees in the woman, right?
Hmm.
That woman has to also see those qualities in that man as well to
That's true.
understand that, even though, go ahead.
No, I was going to just say that you're absolutely right, which is why. So it's certain things I oftentimes say that as a man, even though I'm a relationship coach, women don't receive it well, not because it's not true, but because I'm a man saying it. So when you as a woman said a woman has to look at other things and value them, like when you would value being compatible with somebody, or you would value his character or his
Right.
morals and his beliefs aligning with yours, like overall women, if I'm saying that, I believe it's just as true as when you say it, but when you say it, it's almost like more acceptable because you're a woman speaking to women about the same things as a man I'm saying, and it's like it doesn't fall on the same, it doesn't be it's not received the same.
And it's so ironic that you say that, because you can learn from a man if you take out time to actually talk to a man and get to know a man. And I'm talking about really get to know a man. A man will open up to you. The
Mm-hmm.
nurturing of it will open up. It's a natural effect. That's what God blessed us with to have. And when we first understand that part of it, even meeting that person at that $40,000 a year, right? And I'm as
Right.
a woman at 100,000. What other qualities does this man have that he's bringing to the table to where the security is there, right? The compatibility is there, right? The finances is there. Yeah, he may not be making 100,000 like me, but even what he's bringing in, guess what? He's able to be consistent in this. He's
Right.
able to contribute, right?
Right.
And when we understand that, things can go a bit different. And that's why, again, a lot of women are single. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of men, a lot of people, you're overthinking things instead of just talking. Just like you just mentioned. Why is it that me and you are saying the same thing, but a woman will perceive it different from a man versus it coming from a woman,
I can't I
right?
can't I can't answer that. But what I will say is, for me, what it seems is that because I'm a man, it makes it like where I personify some of the same guys that have hurt those very same women that have trouble with receiving some of the messages that I may say. And it's the same thing as you say, it could be verbatim, but yet because I'm a man, it's like, yeah, but what you did, or yeah, but you ain't shit, or yeah, but you this and that. So it's so many things, right, that would block that understanding or that knowledge or that wisdom from being received by the woman, because as a man, it's almost like I'm saying these things while personifying that guy that may have devastated or turned his back or betrayed her or cheated on her and whatnot.
Right.
And I think that oftentimes is what blocks the message from being received. So with that being said, like I said to myself, what I recognize between men and women is this, right? When it comes to men and women, what women don't recognize is that women and men date for two different things, right? And so a woman wants that security and stability, and a lot of times stable income provides that vision or that picture of, okay, well, me and my children are going to be okay financially. We're not going to need for nothing if I align myself with this guy who's able to provide a high level of resources and different opportunities and options. But when it comes to compatibility, that doesn't mean that he's going to be compatible with you, because his outlook on family or his outlook on marriage can be completely different than that very same woman, because he has those money options, so he believes things should go a little bit differently than her traditionally may feel like things should operate within a relationship. And men on the other end, we're looking for peace and understanding. But when it comes to the women out there, I think that sometimes that's very seldom that you come across a woman who's willing to give you peace and understanding. If first that the title you said earlier, what are you bringing to the table, isn't sufficient enough or equal to what she's bringing in, then it oftentimes is like, well, I don't care about how good of a man you are, or how much character you have, or how much, morals that you abide by, or, how your mama, I don't care about none of that. If your change ain't right, and again, it's like, that part is the part that gets you in the door. Like I talked to on the podcast before, I said, hey, to a lot of women, it's what you bring to the table first, and then it's, yeah, girl, and he's sweet, girl, and he love kids, and he good with pets and animals. But that comes after after he's shown that he's able to provide a stable lifestyle, or if not, a more comfortable lifestyle for that very woman.
And again, here we are. Statistics, right?
Right.
You have statistics, you have influences, and then you have to understand, each individual has to understand themselves. Themselves, no matter what it is, like what we're speaking on, versus male or female. If a person isn't comfortable with themselves, it's not going to be very easy for them to, it should be, to receive a message from their mate and or someone that they're interested in, of constructiveness, to help build, right, on a foundation of that. But when those things are ignored from the beginning, and sex comes into play, right, and then it's all about money, you have to weigh your options. If you're a man, and okay, so what, you're not making $20,000 a year. Here I am, a woman. It ain't like I ain't never dealt with a guy that didn't have a job, or went through hardship. But what else was it that he was doing to help contribute to the household, to my life? What else was going on to where he was an asset to me and not a liability?
And that's why I said earlier, women think that the if he's making $40,000, even if that's consistent, right? And that's something that we can rely on. To a lot of women, he's not attractive enough because he's a liability, even if he's making $40,000 a year, right? So to a lot of women, that is not enough. It's like, well, if I'm making $100,000, I want a man making 80 to 100 or 90 to 100. You see what I'm saying? That's what gets you.
That's why they single. That's why they single. That's why so many people are single. You if you have your mindset in it, but it's bigger than finances. It's bigger than that. A relationship is bigger than that. With an individual, to be able to build and grow, it's bigger than finances. And if you can understand that part alone, then as a woman and as a man, you'll be opened up to other things that can come about with the relationship. And then you're not just trying to keep categorizing this certain tax bracket or certain income bracket, because it doesn't mean to say that the guy who's making $40,000 is lesser than the man that's making $100,000. Because hell, the one that's $100,000 might be a cheater. You know what I'm saying? He might be an abuser. He may not know about spending time. He may have psychological issues that he deals with, that he doesn't know how to nurture, and that he doesn't know how to be that family man, right? But he's making all this money. And now you in this relationship with this quote unquote financial set boundary that you have, but then the peace that you need in the relationship, right, as a woman and or as a man, it's not even there.
Right.
You mentioned peace earlier. It's not exactly, it's not being fulfilled. But if we again keep allowing ourselves to stay in that bubble and think about these finances, that's why again people are single. And at the end of the day, yeah, you're single, but guess what? Don't think that they ain't around here getting with the guy that ain't not making nothing probably but $20,000 a year if they want to get their rocks off, and might take interest in them. And that's vice versa as a man. Don't think that he might not be interested in a girl that's working right down there at Waffle House, and he can be this millionaire because I've been this girl and I'm telling you what I know. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm thinking, little old me, you interested in little old me? But guess what? It was the character. It was me. It was the flair. It was what else? What other stuff is it about you? And how can we build on that, right?
Right.
Even to help you get your finances in order, right? But at the same time, what are we building on? So all
That's
of
a fact.
that, alone is
That's a fact.
hey,
So let me give a quick shout out to Brandon Powell that's locked in on Facebook with us, man. He said these are the conversations that need to be had, man. If you're watching right now and you're enjoying the conversation, or you just want to hear the
that's
discussion, man,
right.
what I need y'all to do is hit that like button, because it's gonna spread, it's gonna give us some more reach, man. Listen, if these are the conversations y'all feel need to be had, then it costs you nothing to click. I always say that, it costs you nothing to click. All you got to do is hit that like button and that share button. I appreciate it. And like I said, you what you're saying, I wish more and more women would hear, because as a woman, you know, I'm sure there are women out there that feel, that you are right on point. You're right on point. And there may be some that disagree or have counters to that. And speaking of counters, when I was telling you how I was speaking to two of friends, one was a man, one was a woman, pretty much the man that I spoke to, my buddy, my partner, he pretty much understood everything I was saying, and he was able to agree with what I was saying in terms of what women value versus what men value. But when I spoke these same things to a woman, the counter I got was that, nah, it's really because men don't want to get married, and men, battle with the fact that we have to try to remain faithful to one woman. She said she has three brothers. One is married, the other two are single, but the one that's married is still, like, in the game, playing around and doing his thing. But what point I was saying was that it's more men that are married than women that are married. So in my opinion, I don't think that it's men that don't want to get married or have a problem committing to one woman, but I think a lot of women would use that as an excuse to say, well, I'd rather choose money over marriage, because if I get married, most likely that guy I'm married with is going to have a problem staying faithful to me. When it's like that, hold on now, how is that when there are more men getting married than women getting married? And in the Black community, if 1 out of 4 women are getting married, then that means that, it's not the men, because we have more of a marriage mindset. So that you say what?
Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
everybody, first of all, as we talking, have to understand this. Even like you're making that comment about marriage. First of all, we have to understand it's the perception of what society has given about marriage. Okay, it's the
Mm-hmm.
perception. We throw around this word. You got people that go over to Vegas and just go drunk the broom. You got people that just marry people for them to get their green cards. you know, let's
Right.
be real. If you're gonna talk about marriage, let's talk about marriage, because you got some people that get in marriage and get married to someone for a financial breakthrough or for a financial situation, to know that they'll have what they need, right? Even if they had children before
Mm-hmm.
they got married to this individual, even if they had children with that individual, but did it based on the grounds of finances, but not even one time it was through the will of God. See,
Mm-hmm.
when you ain't including God in nothing that you got going on, it ain't working. If you ain't trying to include him in that relationship with this guy that you interested in, who you want to take a different approach with, who's to say if it's gonna work?
Right.
Even men, you know what I'm saying? Even when you talk about cheating, if a person wants to cheat, that's what they're going to do. You know, that's just it. And
No guarantees.
those who have that mentality of, well, I'm not going to get married because I'm afraid of being cheated on, or whatever that comes about, of the
Mm-hmm.
excuses, that's them limiting themselves from that type of happiness of what God designed men and women for, right? But we have to
Mm-hmm.
understand that everybody isn't meant to be a wife. Every man ain't meant to be a husband. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
you can be a mate, but you ain't meant to be all of that. Because if all
Right.
of it ain't right, and again, you ain't even equally yoked, you ain't went to God with none of this, ain't none of that gonna work. So the pettiness about
Right.
finances is gonna become petty, because we can make it together. That 100,000 and 40,000, guess what? Can come together for 140,000. You
Right.
feel me?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm with you.
it can
Listen,
go
listen.
together.
If anybody with you, I'm with you. I feel you 100,000 temper, 100,000%. But this is where you have a lot of women that would be like, man, she talking good, but in real life, it doesn't play out like that because those same women see that 40,000 as a liability to the 100,000 instead of the 100,000 combining with the 40 and becoming 140,000. Am I right on that?
Yeah,
And then my
you're
boy
right.
Jeff, shout out to Jeff out there, man. Appreciate you, bro, locking in. He said, right, and women are more likely to file for divorce, which 70% of the divorces, I think it's like 75, 76% of the divorces are filed by women. And we know, like what I was saying too, that this is what I said to my friend lady, co-worker of mine. I said, well, a woman is speaking about a man's inability to be faithful to her in a marriage and men not wanting to marry because of the problem of being committed. But I said, well, that's not the case when it comes to divorce because divorce rates, 76% of them are filed by women. And we know the number one reason for divorce is finances, is money. So if 70% of women are filing for divorce, majority of them are filing because of financial reason. It ain't because a man can't stay faithful. So that to me, she didn't really have nothing to say to that. This is why my wife say I decode arguments. Because I'm saying to myself, well, how does that make sense? Well, I think that's just a fear mindset. God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but I don't think enough people are connected to God. I want to ask you, do you think enough women know themselves? Because you said earlier, hey, you have to know yourself. But do you think enough women really know themselves to know how they should be or what changes need to be made?
No, 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 they don't. No, they don't. A lot of people speaking with you, right? Knowing that this platform is going to go bigger, right? And
Amen. I receive it.
understanding that, yes, I don't expect for women to think like me, but guess what? This is the reality. This is real. These conversations are real. The opinion is not just real. No, it gives you something to think about.
Right.
To and it makes sense. You know what I mean? And so when you don't have a relationship first with yourself or have a relationship with God, your whole outlook on things is going to be totally different than anything. The way you see things are going to be different. The way you speak things into existence is going to be different. The
Mm-hmm.
way you even view your marriage vows are going to be different.
Mm.
The bond that you hold on to your husband, your helpmate, is going to be different
I
when it's
agree.
God and when you understand that. And so when you allow yourself that time to understand who you are, and as a woman, we have women that haven't even healed, even from childhood trauma. And that goes back to men as well. We have to think about the upbringing and how we were taught. I had the opportunity to be blessed to be raised by my grandparents. My mom had me at 14 years old. Let me tell you, my grandfather, I never knew about dysfunction real quickly. He had a
Mm-hmm.
whole he had three kids over there with the Miss Dean, and then these was my uncles and aunts, but they also called my grandmother mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand this until I was in my 20s. I was grown to understand that back then it was different. It wasn't to say, oh, my grandfather was just this infidel. All he did was commit infidelity. He was just this cheater and all this and that. No, that wasn't even the case. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
How are you sticking it out through the hard times in these relationships? That's why divorce rates is as high as they are, because people aren't sticking it out. Your whole motives and why you got married weren't even about good intentions anyway. Your heart
Mm.
wasn't right with it. You can't
Right.
expect for it to work out if you ain't even right. If I ain't right, how it's gonna work out? And
Right.
again, we all
Right.
battle with things. We battle with principalities of evil and spirits and generational issues that have been embedded to where we don't know how do we elevate ourselves. If I ain't never seen nobody be married, if I ain't never understood about a healthy relationship. So now I want to talk about healthy relationships, because
Mm-hmm.
just because you seen your daddy take care of home, but he was an alcoholic, he was abusive to your mom, okay, yeah, he took care of y'all, that ain't love.
Right.
But I grew up seeing it. Now I'm speaking from an individual. Now you you
Mm-hmm.
you you grow up and you see this, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
now you think that This is love. So now, okay, you fall in that same web that your mom fell in. Okay, you're going after the money, right?
Right.
You want the money, right? I've
Mm-hmm.
been there, done that. Let me tell you, had men to offer to take care of me. I'm the mother of 5 girls, and I'm gonna be proud about this.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not a thing that is not that a man will not do to be with me. It's not about that.
Right.
But if I allowed myself to say, you know what? Let me just be with this man. I ain't gonna be satisfied. Guess what? I'm gonna be like the statistics that we're speaking on. I'm gonna be a
Mm.
woman filing divorce, or I'm gonna be somebody that's out there cheating on my man because I know I ain't really happy with what's going on because I'm after his money, but really he ain't even packing and he don't even know how to deal with me intellectually or even understand the woman that I am. And that's
Right.
vice versa for a man. If a
Right.
man doesn't have it from a woman.
Hey, listen. You speak it. Say that. Like Jeff said, say that. And I want to go over one of the viewers' comments. Brandon Powell, shout out to you, man. Says the foundation of what you build your relationship on will determine if you bend or break. Money and love are
Amen.
not strong enough foundations to build a relationship on. Money is what is it? Oh, where am I at? But money is the biggest cause of divorce, and love is a feeling, and feelings change. You can fall in love one moment and uh out of love the next moment. Also, he said commitment, trust, and respect. Love is something that you grow into. If you fall, you are liable to hurt yourself. Shout out to Brandon Powell. So
Shout out to all the comments. We loving
most
it. We
definitely,
loving
man, we
it. We
appreciate
loving
y'all.
it. I
We
have people
appreciate it.
chimed in too on my live as well. But man, Clarence, listen, we're gonna be talking a long, long time, my brother.
For
A
sure.
long
Let's
time.
move right on because
Many,
I got some more questions. Let's move right along. So the other question I asked, remember I asked these same very questions on my
okay.
Facebook and my Instagram. It's relationship healing. If you didn't know, right now we're on YouTube as well as Facebook relationship healing page and the Inside of Man's Mind group. So if you outside of that group, man, send your invites, man. I'm not blocking nothing. Everybody coming
Invite.
through. Listen, we is a block party, man. Everybody gonna get invited. Everybody gonna come in. We gonna chop it up on these relationship issues. But the question I have now is the same question. One of the questions I asked earlier: do today's women prioritize building and maintaining wealth over building and maintaining a family? Now, the majority of people that answered both Instagram and Facebook said it was building wealth. Women prioritize building and maintaining wealth over building and maintaining a family. So why do you believe that is when it comes to women, Shambril? Coach.
Society. And you're gonna hear me talk about society today because it is important. Like we have taken ourselves so far back from what we actually know to have been the root of things and the foundation of what we've even seen in healthy things that we're surrounding ourselves around, just like you're saying. Do women prioritize maintaining and building wealth over building and maintaining a family?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do have women that are out there and that feel that way. Let me worry about my finances first, right?
Right.
Let me worry about getting to that next level, right? And then I can worry about a family. But the offset to that is you can still forever be chasing wealth. You can still forever be chasing a financial breakthrough. And
Right.
then you've spent so much time worried about chasing this money because this is what again, it's a tool. Money is a tool, right? So we
Right.
understand that we want to be comfortable, we want to use it, we want to be able to do the things that we need to do and be able to provide for our family. But if you are not understanding to build and maintain on a family is important, it can take away from the other qualities of what can be so in your relationship that again is still bigger than that finance. The
Right.
finances
Right.
is yes, that's what we want, but you can do that together and being able to teach each other. If someone doesn't know, how can I help you? But being receptive to receiving that part of it, how do I help my equal, right, get on this next level so that we're equal together. And then we're able to again focus on our family and make sure we're able to have over here for the foundation of again building.
Right.
It is
But I think here's the
it's
thing though, because
mm,
I think that what you're saying is true. But if we can speak to why women don't share that same mentality, I think that regardless what women prioritize, this is what the young lady I told you I was speaking to said. She said if a woman has a family or she has structure in a family setting before she attains, whatever accomplishments and accolades she accomplishes, then in her mind marriage becomes more valuable and important to her. But if a woman has excelled in life and has gained, a certain level of income and have done certain things for herself, then marriage and relationship become less important to her. And the more and more I see when we talk about the stat that 25% of women get married in the Black community, that means 1 out of 4. Then that means the majority of women are not married, and the majority would be those women that excel, with finances and business and other things, and then find marriage and family to be a lot less important. So for those women who may be in that majority, I'm saying to myself, well, what I see when speaking and counseling to women is that same notion is a front. It's almost like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna throw my clothes on, put my business suit on, and act like that I'm not affected by this. But then in secrecy, when the doors are closed, tears are falling because of the lack of success with relationships.
and that's the key part. Stop fronting. We ain't got time to keep fronting. You're gonna be 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, single, die by yourself alone. Period.
Hey, everybody
Like that's
that's
just what
watching right now, I want y'all to put in the comments, there's no future in fronting. If you watching right now, type in the comments, there's no future in fronting, because
and that
this is
goes
what
for
happens a
women.
lot of the time.
And that
Go
goes for
ahead.
women and men. And that goes for women and men. But more importantly, even with women, because just like you said, see, we can sit back as women and have a whole dialogue of a conversation of, we want a man, right? When is this man gonna come? Trust me, I have these conversations with
Right.
women, even as a coach, even as a woman in general. And I have these conversations. So I'm seeing and I'm understanding what's being said. Yeah,
Right.
you're fronting and you putting on. That's why I mentioned earlier, them same ones that's over here talking about being financial, this and that, uh, $40,000 club, $100,000 club. Guess what? They the ones with these dildos and with these playful
Speak on
things
it.
to get their
Speak on it.
rocks off. But guess what? In reality, you can have that man that can be your somebody. You can have that man that can be your helpmate. You can have that man to help you build that foundation. Even for myself as a woman that I have a family, right? I
Mhm.
have been a mother since the age of 16. So family and maintaining a family, God has already allowed that foundation to be so. But as a man, how could you come in the picture to help enhance this part of it, right? It's not
Right.
just about finances. And the more we keep our mindset on it, and that's why the women getting up, putting on their makeup. But believe me, that's why they get on social media, post their pictures. That's why a lot of them out here getting their bodies done because they want the attention. But at the end of the day, they still ain't happy. A man still looking right on past them because sometimes you're doing that and women are doing this because they're not happy with themselves.
Mhm.
Okay, you ain't truthful with you. You truthful with you first, and with what you got going on. How do you be truthful about being in some relationship to move into the next level with somebody? That don't work.
Right. Right. And I agree. I agree. I just think that when it comes to conversations like this, I think that like I said, I'm so grateful to have you speak on it because, oh, look, fire alarms in the house going off. Hold on. Hold on one second.
Okay. Hey y'all, I'm still here, y'all. I'm sorry that y'all can't see him, but just know, you know, it's hot topics going on, y'all. Feel free to comment, feel free to chime in. You know, these are healthy dialogues and healthy conversations that had to be had. So I just appreciate Clarence just giving me this opportunity. So again, if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment below.
Most definitely. And encourage them. Go to Relationship Healing page, share this post, show their love and support. That'd be awesome if they could do that. And so as we move on, right, I asked the question, why do women insist on finding their financial equal? Will that decide the quality of their relationships? Right. So if I go back to Instagram asking that same question, why do women prioritize their financial equal? Uh most women will look down on a man or not respect him. So if he's not her financial equal, she feels like that most women will look down on a man, will not respect him. One said for stability, and another said uh, because we don't want the responsibility of financially caring for an able-bodied man. So, but to me, that to me explains why a woman would want a man to work and bring in a certain amount of income. But when I specifically ask why is it women looking and prioritizing finding their financial equal, that goes back to the scenario. Hey, if a woman's making 100K, then okay, it's like, well, I don't want the responsibility of taking care of an able-bodied man, but hey, that same able-bodied man is just not making $100,000. He's making $40,000, and to some women, it's like, well, I won't respect him. That's crazy. So you can't respect the man because he's not making equivalent amount of resources than you, and he's not an able-bodied man if he's not making 100K. That's what I mean.
Run, all my men, you meet women like that, you run. The number one rule is respect. And if you
Right.
cannot respect me, you will not get my attention.
Right.
And that's what we have to understand. First of all, to say that you're not going to respect a man because he's not making what you're making as an equal finances, it sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds crazy because for one, you want to be respected as a woman, whether you got, first of all, as an individual, we all want to be
Right.
respected. The number one rule that God says, you treat others how you want to be treated. And see,
Facts.
we ignore all of that. We still
Right.
talking about, again, all this talking about financial equal and stuff like that. So in the beginning, yes, that could be a factor, but however, finances still is nothing but money. That's just giving security, but that still doesn't mean that you're equally yoked with that individual. It still doesn't mean that you're compatible with that individual. If you are
Right.
not building, if you are not trying to build and grow on that foundation, then again, you're going to keep being single. This is for my women. It's for my men. I thank God for these platforms to allow the conversations to be real like this. Because guess what? We ain't got time to keep sugarcoating nothing. This the problem now. I'm not that friend girl that you're gonna sit on the phone with and that I'm gonna tell you something. Anybody that knows me, the world is gonna be able to know me in their own way, are going to understand that we have to shift our mindset. We have to shift the way that we think and the way that we view things based on what it seems to be in society. We got to get away from that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Communication is the key to everything. And if you're not on that level of first and foremost of trying to just communicate that alone and really get to know that individual who's making them $40,000 a year in God's plan for his life might be a millionaire in 5 years. But guess what? You didn't want to hold on when that brother was making $40,000. He had all the qualities that he needed to have you, but because you was worried about his financial situation, guess what? You missed out on a good thing. Now he's over here married, got all this going on, and now you mad. See, that's why Tyler Perry came up with his movie. Whatever the movie was with Taraji and the man, the Tesla guy. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about. You
Uh-huh.
know what I'm talking about. When Tyler Perry made that movie, that that arose a lot of current situations and things that has went on in the past with people. She made more money than him.
Right.
He had a vision.
Mm-hmm.
All he wanted you to do was to stand on faith with him with that vision and believe in that vision. It has to go for both male and female. If you
Right.
don't have that, it is not going to go further. It's not. And if you can't overlook it or even pipe down, right, and humble yourself, but
Right.
remember the ones who want to disrespect the man because they ain't got their money to right, it ain't gonna be right for you. So them
Mm-hmm.
same brothers you bash actually are good brothers, and I believe that they are good men out there. I'm not a man basher. I'm not. I
Right.
don't have a reason to be.
And I think that that's just the whole thing is that where it comes to again, majority majority of women would say, well, I don't know. He only made how much? And that's just the problem right there because I see a lot of women who are successful and they are the ones who have the money to devote toward healing and toward therapy. And those are
Amen.
the women who are, hey, had their stuff together, looking nice, dressed well, smelling good, but yet are super, super single. And it just makes me question, like, how is it that as an attractive woman who seemed to have her head on straight, who seemed to be, enterprising and doing things and making moves and shaking and everything like that, but yet you find that you can't find success with men. And I oftentimes believe that it's because the dating pool has shrunk for women that have excelled to the point where now the priority of that same woman is to ensure and maintain her wealth. And a guy making 40,000 is like, well, he's threatening my ability to stay wealthy and stay in a comfortable position. And that is what a woman is looking for over a guy who has high character that just doesn't make as much. And so my guy Jeff said, he said, like the sister said, that a man making 100K might be a cheater, abusive, and disrespectful. But why? It's just like that is overlooked because that's what gets you in the door. That's what gets you smiled at. That's what gets you sex faster because you that guy who got it all got chips in the bank. You screaming, throw it in the bag, and now she like, well, hey, I need to just stick with him.
Listen, when it becomes that right there that you speaking on, the qualities, it's all still overlooked.
Right,
It's
right.
it's
Give me
all
one quick
overlooked.
second. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Had to grab my charger, but yeah, I'm saying that to me,
I'm
it really
here. I'm still here.
great. I had to get my charger. My computer was dying. So that part right there is what, like I said. So the next question I had is, does putting money or financial security over marriage and family work out for the long term for women? Now, as I said before, the answers were different um, when it came to Instagram. Okay, majority of the women or the majority of the answerers, the people who answered that question, 76% said no. Does putting money and financial security over marriage and family work out long term for women? 76% said no, 24 said yes. When I went to Facebook though, it was ringing different. Now, I don't know if it's a different demographic, but on Facebook, they were saying 67% of the women said, yeah, work putting money and financial security over marriage and family works out long term for women. So I'm trying to figure out who lying.
Uh-huh. Ah, ah, hold on one second. Right. I'm here, Clarence.
Okay. Who lying? Tell me who lying.
Listen, you say who lying based on? Hold on.
Why Instagram say that why does the
I'm,
people on Instagram
I'm sorry,
76% believe that it doesn't work out long term for
my
women to put
screen went
money?
off. About the fact I had another a business Zoom meeting, right? I forgot all about
Mhm.
it. Honestly. But to elaborate on our question, what was our last question? Run it by me one more time, please. Get out. My background.
Yep. Does putting money and financial security over marriage and family work for women long term? On Instagram, there are 76% says no, that doesn't work for women long term. But on Facebook, 63% of people who answered the poll said yes, it does work for women.
I
So who lying
I
is
feel
my
like it
question.
doesn't. In my opinion, I feel like it doesn't.
Hmm.
I feel like it doesn't. Unless a woman is already self sufficient and that's already the foundation and where she's already at, what
Right.
she has going on. But that doesn't from everything in which you're talking about security and
Hmm.
marriage over family work out. No,
Oh,
again,
your
it's the
camera. I think your
morals that
camera
people
went
are
out if
standing
it's black.
on. Hold on one
Can you
second. I'm
hear me?
here.
Okay.
I can hear you. I'm trying to get my camera back up. Okay, let's see. I have it. Okay.
BM, I see you.
Okay. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, you fine. You fine.
Okay.
I get to get my
Okay.
charger too.
Oh, oh shoot.
So why don't you think
Clarence.
it works long term?
Mm, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, it's so tricky. That's why you see I'm just like, yeah. I understand why some can say yes, but like I said, I still said no because it's how you communicate and talk during the development of what you're trying to build. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like sometimes we know finances and money can ruin relationships. you
Right.
know, um, and that's true. Clarence, I'm still
Right.
here. Just talk for me
Okay.
for a second. I got to step aside for a moment.
Well, it is true. It is true that it
Uh-huh.
doesn't work, in my opinion, because I feel like over time, what ends up happening is that things happen in life to where money can't fix it. My guy Pastor Dozier say, "Hey, you go in the hospital, in a tough situation, you get into a car crash, and all of a sudden you can't rub money on your pains, you can't rub money on your body and make you heal." So the money that we would feel like that is going to ensure that you recover and that you get better is not always. Hold on. Whew. All right. So the money, like I said, the money isn't. Okay. So I'm gonna take that as God saying we need to end the show because my smoke detector, my wife trying to cook. Oh my goodness, yeah, right. I feel you, Joe. I feel you. So listen, we gonna wrap this on up, man, and I'm gonna edit this down so we'll be able to have a better video for YouTube. But Shambrell, I appreciate you sitting in with me, and I had no idea this was gonna be going on like this. But definitely, I'm glad y'all locked in with us tonight. And is there anything you want to say before we get on up out of here?
Amen. Can you hear me, Clarence?
I can hear you. I can
I
hear you.
can't hear you no more. What happened?
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Clarence?
I can hear you. Okay. Well, for everybody that's watching right now, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I'm sorry about all of this,
Clarence,
back and
I cannot
forth.
believe that I cannot hear you. I'm like,
Well, anyway, but we gonna end this session tonight, and like I said, I'm gonna chop this down and we're gonna post it to YouTube so that we got all of this out of the video, and that you'll be able to really focus on some of the things that we said. If you didn't catch it, then you can catch it during the week. All right. So it's the Male Translations Podcast, breaking down the difference of what men say and women hear, giving men a voice, giving women insight on
can you hear
relationships
me?
when it comes to relationships. And we'll see y'all again, man. It's a Thursday night live. I'll catch you right back on Sunday night. We're going to chop it up on another great topic, and we'll see y'all then. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. Till we meet again, stay healthy, stay blessed, stay safe. Deuces.